This is landscapes around houses with information gathered from Stylish House by Watts and from the Ecological Society of America. It's roughly about the relationship between culture and the plant life. Urbanization has developed the landscape of anywhere it touches. It is built by humans for humans. Humanity is in part driven by society, and society dictates what is in season, what is out. Therefore, society drives the landscape of humanity. There are a great many more suburbs now than there were just a couple decades ago. And that's because society has dictated that suburbs are the place to live. The culture of a specific area plays a part in the type of landscape that culture will find socially acceptable. People of like cultures are likely to have the same landscape. So the people in this similar culture group are likely to have very similar landscapes. This is a good example of how socioeconomic status, not just culture, plays a role in landscape as well. Members of different socioeconomic groups will have specific landscaping to that specific group. Here's another example of that point. You can see that it's from the American Geographical Society, and that different types of gardens are associated with different types of socioeconomic class. Here's an example of how society dictates our landscape in suburban areas. This lady carefully constructed her yard, but because it did not look like what would be called the standard yard, the city took the neighbor's complaint, looked at the yard, and just assumed it was overgrown, and took action, seemingly before even talking to the owner. Here are some examples of how suburban landscape shapes the country. This is dogwood on the right and kudzu on the left. Kudzu is known for taking over whatever area it can get. Both of these are invasive species, and both of them were brought into the United States because it was deemed fashionable to have them in the yard. In Stylish House, the privet bush or shrub was mentioned as being brought into the yard of the current owners of the time. I don't know if you know, but privet is an invasive species that Mississippi has a great problem with. Another example, the dandelion is originally from Eurasia, but was brought to North America in the mid-1600s to be cultivated in gardens for food and medicine. While the dandelion isn't considered invasive by federal agencies, it is still a non-native plant, which was brought for the purpose of having in your garden, because it was what was in at the time. Ecological homogenization of urban USA states that the soil and plant ecology of residential landscapes are changed by the people inhabiting it and their cultural norms. Not only that, but the hydrography of a place as well, not just the soil and plant ecology. The landscape of any place is directly influenced by the culture of the individuals inhabiting it. There is no actual limit to how much of the landscape is changed by society. The invasive species that are brought into gardens are not limited to gardens. They spread, and they spread throughout the continental United States. As society changes, the landscape is forced to change as well. But the real question is that healthy for the landscape and the non-human inhabitants of it?